Hello, welcome to the Manic Pixie Dream Vlog. I'm your host, Caroline Georges, and welcome today. I wanted to talk about the death penalty and go from there. So I was looking online and I was reading about executioners, and there's something, and then a little fact about executioners and how they operate kind of struck me as it's kind of coincidental to stripping. Executioners are paid in cash and they use a fake name when they go to work. Strippers are paid in cash and they use a fake name when they go to work. What the fuck does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Because the executioners are paid in cash because executions apparently are not, they're sort of funky with, with the laws and that sort of thing. So it's not always something that you can put on payroll. And they don't want to, and they protect the executioner's privacy by paying them in cash as well, I'd assume. And then also, they use a fake name because to protect their privacy. Like, people view executioners, people that take life, however little society values it. I mean, they're sort of viewed the same way and kept in the dark in the same way as sex workers. But, I mean, with the death penalty, I was always against it. Always. There was this woman in Texas, and I forget her name, and I think her name would be something worth remembering because she was a really wonderful person. And she got the death penalty when she was 19 years old. And after she shot and killed her mother and her boyfriend when she was like high on methamphetamines. And so, it's kind of like she was high on methamphetamines, guys, I mean, so I think the death penalty in her case was really excessive. And, but in prison, this woman reformed, completely reformed. She, I think, even led like Bible studies. She was really involved with all of the inmate programs and stuff. And then when she was, 30 years old, it was just, they took away this beloved inmate who was so close to all of the women in the prison and who was loved by all of the guards and stuff, and was just this wonderful, wonderful person who didn't deserve to die. And she was killed. She was killed. And it was George Bush that was the final say in that, because he was governor at the time. And so many people were protesting her execution that the governor needed to get involved. And it was George W. Bush, who was the final say in her being executed. And, but I don't think much of politicians generally. And, but then I'm going to tell you about the most horrific crime I've ever heard of. And it involves a child. And it's one of these things that you hear it once and it rings in your ears forever. You can't get it out of your head that this happens. You can't get it out of your head that you're living and you're walking on an earth and on a planet where this happens. This man raped his son to death, essentially. He had a 2 or 3 year old son, like a toddler, and he raped him to death. I can't get into the details or explain what happened. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what it is. This little boy was raped to death by his own father. And I just, I don't know. How is that person not deserve to die? I'm sorry. I don't want to come across as psycho. And I don't want to come across as vindictive or vengeful or anything like that. But still, how does a man like that, who does that to his own son, deserve to live? What right does that man have to the air in his lungs? And a question people always ask is like, well, would you be the executioner? You know, would you be the person that pulls the lever? And another thing about executioners is that they prefer, they actually like have methods of executions that they prefer and that they ask for to do. And many of them prefer the electric chair because it's less work. And so literally a lot of executioners choose the electric chair because it's less hands-on. With lethal injection, you're operating machines the entire time you're killing someone, you know? And so with an electric chair, you just pull a lever. And so, I mean, I'm not the most dexterous person. I'm not the best with my hands. So, I mean, if I had to kill someone using the lethal injection machine, I might mess it up. But, I mean, the electric chair thing, apparently you only have to pull a lever. You know? It's easy. I'm totally just kidding. I just feel like I should specify that. But, anyways, I don't know. But people do what they have to do, you know? And some people, like, I mean, I wonder if there are some people who are just so compelled and they really feel like they're doing the right thing, that when they hear about something like a little boy being raped to death, it's that image in their mind that they're putting to death when they take somebody's life. Yeah, so a little bit, I mean, with, I want to get into cancel culture, I guess, because, I mean, those kind of feel like executions. They feel like public executions, you know, because back in the day, and even in the 1800s and going into the 1900s, executions were done publicly. It was meant to humiliate the person who was about to die. So people were really serious about killing people back then, to the point where it was like a public event, and everyone took part in killing someone. So first you just humiliate them. You show all of these people there judging you, waiting to watch you die, and then you're killed. And you know, and there was I was reading about executions and how they were handled and stuff, and like families of the victims got front row seats. They were allowed to bring garbage that they could throw at the person. Like, it's crazy. It really was one of those things where it was like, it was a circus. Public executions were a fucking circus. Like, if you had a family member that was murdered and then the murderer was about to be hung, you could bring literal garbage and rotten fruit and vegetables to like throw at them while they're hanging to death. You know? People were really serious. And, you know, and I never really clarified this, but I don't agree with a lot of the things that she has to say. And she said things she has said things that have offended me. But, oh my God, and I can't remember her name all of a sudden. Fuck. The woman who called that... The woman who called that black woman a monkey thinking she was white. Rosanne Barr. Why? I don't know. I suddenly just forgot her name for a second. Whoops. Anyways, Rosanne Barr, she made a mistake. She got fucked up and then thought a woman was white and then called her a monkey. It turns out the woman was black. I mean, all of this, I mean, I'm sorry, but all of this could be on a sitcom. This is hilarious. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just like, I'm sorry to the woman that was offended, you know, that would be like, I mean, if you were a black woman and you got called a monkey, that would be really disturbing, you know, but under the circumstances, it was a misunderstanding, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, but it's like, who hasn't gotten fucked up on Ambien and misplaced somebody's race, you know what I mean? Like, who hasn't done that in some way or another? You know, and, but it was like a public execution. It was off with her head. It was crowds of people throwing fruit at her, you know, on Twitter, you know, it, and Lizzie Borden, you know what killed her? You know what her punishment was? Because Lizzie Borden, she got off scot-free from killing her parents. I've heard a lot of theories about other people, like it being the maid or it being the uncle or something like that, or being the neighbor. But I don't know. I just think it was Lizzie. It was Lizzie Borden. I'm sorry. Girls kill their, hormonal girls kill their parents all the time. It happens. You know what I mean? Why not? And, but Lizzie Borden's punishment was that after she was acquitted, she had no social life. She was completely ostracized. Nobody wanted her around. Everyone knew she did it. Everyone thought she did it. So, what's worse? Like being executed or being thrown out by the world and made to live by yourself amongst everyone? What's worse? But with Rosanne Barr, I mean, one of the concerns people had was is she going to commit suicide? Are any of these people just going to commit suicide? Is that how they execute people? And I always appreciated the Kardashians because I really feel like celebrity became something that needed to be marketed. And I think that time came when, Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan, their mental health and their choices while they were clearly mentally ill and addicted to drugs and alcohol, being used as entertainment was really fucked up and wrong. And, as much as they went along with it, I mean, it's just, I don't think that was healthy for them at all. And I think it almost killed them. And I think it's to this day, both those women struggle with their mental health issues and addiction issues to this day. And so, and that's because of the paparazzi, and that's because of celebrity, and that's because of all of those things. And now they're just sort of they're considered these has-beens, who don't have their shit together, and their mental health is constantly in question to this day. And so I always appreciated the Kardashians for taking on that mantle and making it a business, so that they can be the ones that society projects that on instead of, mentally ill starlets, But what would that do to you? Being the apple of everyone's eye, being the queen of the world, being one of the most beautiful, cherished, and loved women in the world, like Lindsay Lohan or Britney Spears, and then failing to living up to people's expectations of you as being this perfect princess, and then when you fail to live up to those expectations of being a perfect princess, you're ostracized and mocked and left to the wolves. Is that an execution? Is that killing someone? I don't know. But I recently dodged a bullet, and I wanted to talk about this. This doesn't really have anything to do with executions or death, but I just wanted to mention this. I dodged a bullet. A white knight came for me. A white knight went at me hard, and I dodged it. And I'm going to tell you what happened. So I mentioned in another vlog, there is this comic who has a crush on me, and he expresses that to me, with his behavior and actions. And, it's all fine, but I'm a little conflicted at what to do at this moment. Because, this guy is very touchy-feely with me. This guy, But when I first met him, I do material about being a stripper. I do material about, I do material about my life, and I talk about real things. And so this guy started messaging me on Instagram saying hey, let's get coffee. I want to talk to you. I want to be a shoulder to cry on, that kind of thing. I just want to talk. And I was just like, yeah, well, maybe if we run into each other at an open mic, we can talk, and have a conversation if you want. Like, or, I wasn't going to, I saw red flags, Why does this guy who doesn't even know me, who we just met at an open mic, why does this guy want to talk to me about my problems? Why does this guy want to sit down with me over coffee and be my shoulder to cry on all of a sudden? That's a little weird. And so I'm a little conflicted what to do, because there's another girl who's very attractive, who I really like, who also goes to open mics, and she's really working hard, and she's really making progress and stuff, and that's a huge inspiration to me, and I really appreciate her company and that she wants to be friends with me. And so because of that, I'm a little concerned for her. She's having issues with this same guy, and what happened was he befriended her. They started doing joke writing sessions together. He's more advanced than she is, so him helping her write jokes would have been way more valuable to her than her helping him write jokes would be to him. So he was courting her under the understanding that they were just friends, and so she showed me all of their text history, and I read through as much as I could. And so basically this guy confronted her for sex, which has happened to me before. I've had a guy confront me for sex. It's so uncomfortable, it's so degrading, it's so upsetting. I talked about it before. There was this comic, he came into my apartment and then he left, stormed out, and then when I called him, he said if he came back, he was spending the night. That was so upsetting. I'm sorry, but it's just like, I don't know how to describe it, but just imagine somebody just being like, you need to fuck me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just like, ugh, I'm sorry, but that's just like what guys do sometimes. I'm not even kidding. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to hate on men, but please see this. There are men who are nice, kind, charming, funny, and successful, are pieces of shit all the fucking time, who do this shit to women all the fucking time. And I'm so pissed at this guy right now because he came at me. I am in such a bad place. And this white knight saw that I was in a bad place, and he tried to take advantage of that. And going back to this woman, she befriended him. He confronted her for sex. I saw it in a text message. That's sexual harassment. I think that's sexual harassment. If you're saying to someone, if someone asks you, I don't know what you want from me, and then he responds, I want sex and affection, then isn't that sexual harassment? Isn't that harassing someone for sex? And then basically in the text history, he was just like, you're a bad friend. You were just using me. But this guy was laying out the red carpet for her. And she thought they were just friends. And she thought that this was what their friendship was. That is not her fault. That is his fault. And I'm so mad at this man for seeing me and messaging me to become friends with me so that he could do the same thing to me later on. I am going through so much right now that these fucking men thinking that I can handle their problems and handle their bullshit and that I am what they need to project their fucking issues onto just makes me so fucking mad. It's killing me. It's fucking killing me. I don't date. I don't have sex. I don't do anything to protect myself. So it's just like this skeevy little worm coming into my life, showing up in my Instagram DMs and trying to be my friend when I know now clearly his intentions were not good. And now this poor woman has these issues with him that she has to deal with. And it's like, what do you do? There are so many girls that would love a friend in comedy who would help them write jokes. This guy has something he can market to these women to get them around him. He's a very good joke writer. So he can go up to any young girl, befriend her, help her write jokes, and then confront her for sex. And I think that that's how this guy operates. I think this guy operates on that level, and I think he operates on that level commonly. Anyways, so that's my vlog for today. I just needed to talk about my week and some of the reflections that I've had this week, I guess. And anyways, if you like my vlogs, like and subscribe or share or comment. Anyways, but these are just for you to enjoy, and I enjoy doing them. So just thank you for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.